one of the things that students often ask is, what does it mean to be critical? And often when students come with their work to an academic skills appointment, they might say, well, I've been told I'm being too descriptive. And what that means is that you've not been critical enough. So if you're being descriptive, you're giving a bit of a blow-by-blow account of something. You're giving it step one, this happened, and then this happened, and then this. Whereas really when you're being critical, you are gathering your information together in more of a theme or a topic, and you're discussing it around that topic. And that gives you a chance to really make an argument.
It means sometimes taking a step back from what you're looking at and checking, say, the rigour of the claims that are being made. So is this well researched, or is somebody simply asserting something? So when you're looking at a paper, if you're being descriptive, you're just saying, oh, this is what the person said. Being critical is saying, well, why did they say that? What kind of basis do they have for saying it? What research underlies it? So it's really about looking at something with a certain amount of detachment and trying to identify the methods, the biases, the reasons for that piece of work.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that shouts out is that jump is the critical analysis that you do. So in everything you've kind of got to be critical in everything that you write about. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, in my first assignment I had to be critical, and then it was a bit of a shock really, because I haven't really had to do much of it at college in my secondary school, so it was a shock, but I feel like I handled it alright.
That's what I started doing in our second year, but help is there in the library. They've got academic help, so if you feel like you're struggling, just ask for help in the library.
It means knowing how to actually read the academic material that you'll need to use when you are writing your essays. So for us, our role is to enable you to be able to do that by directing you to resources, but also to provide workshops on how to actually find literature.
You do on your assignments and things, but I feel like lecturers and examiners love discussion, so you don't have to critique, you just have to discuss as many different areas and take on different points of view.
It's obviously, it's just kind of, you've got to look at both sides of the argument, but also kind of give your opinion of it, and that's the more critical analysis is that if you can find if you're reading something and you find something that's either good or wrong with it, how is that critical to what you're looking for, if you know what I mean?
I think this was my biggest battle, because I always do things a particular way and I never thought why. And coming here in my first module, all I had to do was why. And that's when it made me realize that I just don't have to do things like a robot. I have to actually think about what it means, what implications it has. And in my first module, thanks to my course leader and my tutors, the first module actually helped me reshape my whole thinking.
Being critical, I think, it's part of the reflection process, if you like. You're reflecting on what you've done. You're then thinking, analysing what you've done and why that's happened, or why you've learnt what you've learnt, or why you didn't know what you didn't know in the first place. Analysing, why that was, and then coming up with a conclusion really about it, and then changing what you've done.
Being able to reflect is an absolutely key part of the course. You won't get through the course without it. And I think more than that as well, being able to be critically analytical as well. So what I would suggest is do your reading, do lots of good reading, and then think hard about the theory. What does it mean in practice? Is it relevant? What are the issues with that? What are the actual challenges? Think critically about how the theory could be applied in your area, in your area of practice, and compare and contrast theories, and let's hear your considered views as well. I want to read those. It makes the coursework more interesting, and students are capable of offering their considered views, I think. So for me, that's what critical analysis is.
Now when I critically reflect, I realize that there are so many things that I could have done differently.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have to be critical in our writing. Most of our mark schemes are usually critically analyze these, so I think that's when the difference comes in. Instead of like just describing a situation, looking at different literature to support, or to you know, something that's different from what you're looking at. So I think it's very, very important. And I think that's what differentiates postgraduate and undergraduate as well, in a way, because we do more of critical analysis.
I think the key thing about critical writing is to apply critical thinking. So it's about taking all of the information that you've got access to. It's about taking it all apart and then putting it back together and then presenting it in a new way and presenting your critical voice in your writing.